Why are we here? Why are we gathering for the 20th year to listen to young people share their ideas about racism? This competition should not have to exist, and in a perfect world, it wouldn't. But we are here, and will continue to be, until our voices are more than just heard. But why are we here? We're not the ones most in need of hearing these speeches. We made a choice to attend this evening, and yet those who need to receive our message the most aren't listening or refuse to. Surely, if we get the entire country tuning into a daily 1 p.m. conversation about COVID, we can do the same with racism. We can force a conversation. Starting a conversation is hard, but it's like paddling a waka. We need a voice, we need a team, hey, we already have 5 million, and we need to put those first paddles in the water to make waves. Once we've started that conversation and built momentum, we can make waves. Tēnā koutou katoa, let's start this kōrero. If we look at the structure of a kōrero, a conversation, there are 5 main parts: a topic, a question, response to the question, discussion between parties, and the conclusion. To start a kōrero, you must first have a topic. This should be pretty obvious for e tēneko tonight. It's racism. But specifically than racism, how we must paddle as one, kia kotahi te hoi, to improve race relations in Aotearoa. Now that we have our topic, we need to introduce a pakirehua, a question, which will generate a discussion. He aha ngā mea e whanaki ai ko te tūmanako ki roto, ia koe mo te hanga i ngā hononga a iwi mō āpopo, e rangimāri e ai, e pai ai, e matatika ai. Wai hoki he aha o ngā hia mō anamata. What gives you hope for the future of race relations in Aotearoa, and what do you want that future to look like? By posing a pakirehua, a question, this gives other participants in the kōrero an opportunity to share their ngā oho ideas. For example, in response to the pakirehua about what the future should look like, what gives me hope for the future is the fact that there are so many tangata, people competing in this competition, and through our rangatahi, our young people, the world is becoming more connected, more educated, and more open-minded. Mā pango, mā whero, ka oti ai te mahi. By black and red together, the work is done. By working together, weaving together like the pango and whero of the tukutuku panels that stand proudly in a marae, we can connect, we can educate, we can unify, creating a better future for all. But not everyone has the same ngā oho as each other. A lot of kōrero are built around differences. So what should we do if these differences are harmful or are based around misinformation? I have some solutions. Ka ahatia e tātou ki roto i tō tātou nei hāhori, i tēnei wā tono, kia kitia paitia ka taia te haipapa i te kaikiri. What could we do now in our community to demonstrate that the eradication of racism is possible? I'm sure we have all been told that if we see or hear someone doing or saying something racist, we should call it out. But how are you meant to call it out? On a pahi, bus, do you just etu, stand up, in front of everyone and start berating the passenger who made a racist comment about the person who had just hopped off the bus? Do you hold a megaphone in wharekura, school assembly, and interrupt the principal's address to call out the kid in class who muttered something racist under their breath? These are scary, and for any Kiwi, far too intimidating. This means we do not act or speak up, and thus the problem of racism continues. Rather, if you hear someone say something racist, you could try to educate them. I had a member of my whānau complain that they're changing the pronunciations of all the places in Aotearoa, so I told them that that's actually how they're meant to be pronounced. We're not changing anything, we're fixing our mistakes. The scars that run deep in our history will take a long time to heal, so let's not create any new ones. If you're not comfortable with this, that's okay. I have another solution so that you can continue paddling our waka. If you hear someone say something racist, just calmly ask them, could you repeat that please? I didn't hear you the first time. And they will either not repeat it as they realise that it's offensive, or they will repeat it and hopefully look like an idiot. If they repeat what they said and somehow manage to not humiliate themselves, then you can ask them, can you explain that to me please? I didn't understand it the first time. Forcing them into a corner as they try to justify being racist. Even better, as this tactic isn't limited to racism, it's also effective against any other form of discrimination. Or perhaps if you're a bit more of an introvert and you're not usually one to initiate kōrero, that's okay. It's hard to start a kōrero. We can force it, but sometimes tangata just don't want to whakarongo, listen. Sometimes we have to work on ourselves before we can work on other tangata. Here are some more examples of things you can do so you don't feel like you're the odd one out sitting in the waka, not paddling. These may not seem like they are calling out racism directly, but it's the little things, like appreciating other cultures, that helps to break the divisions that have been made in society. For example, you could eat a specific culture's kai when they have a holiday, like Chinese at Chinese New Year, or Indian when it's Diwali. If you want to acknowledge Te Reo Māori more, you could watch Te Karere, that's the Te Reo Māori news, if you didn't know, and put Te Reo Pākehā subtitles on. Or a personal favourite of mine, whakarongo to the metal band Alien Weaponry, who are from Aotearoa and have waiata songs, where they sing in Te Reo Māori. You don't have to be fluent in Te Reo Māori, you can just be immersed in it, and eventually you'll pick up a few words here and there. Like in this kōrero, have you noticed how I've included words of Te Reo Māori throughout the speech, and it's not actually that overwhelming, and you can understand it? I know these ngā or solutions may not seem like much, but it's a start. It's a paddle in the water, that first splash that'll send out ripples. Ripples being sent out that are calling others to join us paddling. Te kia koha tahi te hoi. And with enough of us paddling, we can build enough momentum to create waves. And eventually your kōrero will reach a conclusion, like we have just done. You've reached somewhere. This may not be the destination that you intended, but you've got somewhere. You have progressed. Maybe your waka got blown off course, or you faced challenges along the way. But as long as everyone is doing their bit to kia koha tahi te hoi, then we can strive for race unity. You don't have to fight racism with big gestures or actions. You can start small, and that's ka pai. Nō reira he aha mau hei awhina e te waka o te ira tangata ki reire whakamua. So what will you do to advance the waka of humanity forward towards race unity? Haumie, hui e, tai ki e.